Hello and welcome to the Revived Yarns podcast. I'm going to try and do this in the half hour or so that I have before I have to go help at my daughter's book fair. Or the Scholastic book fair. She bought her books yesterday when I was there. All right, so I have a few acquisitions, not very many finished objects, and I totally forgot to bring some. I will pause and go grab them. Okay, I wasn't actually able to find all of them. Oh, they're buried somewhere. All right, anyway, I have finished, finally, this linen tee that I started, oh gosh, ages ago. So it's basically very boxy, on size 1s. Very lightweight, kind of slubby linen that I reclaimed from a thrift store sweater. And I self-drafted the pattern. I basically just cast on for the shoulders. I wanted it kind of drop sleeve. And then knit down, joined it for the back. Did the same in the front, a little bit lower. The neckline was way too big, like way too big. So I just picked up and decreased and knit around and did a tight bind off. So now it's great. I wore it to Fiber Fusion in Monroe this last weekend. My daughter and I drove over. My daughter came with me and she had a lot of fun. She's 7. So she got some shiny things from some of the vendors, which she loved. She always tries to steal my stitch markers and buttons, so she was able to buy some of her own. Alright, and then other finished objects. I cast on with some reclaimed, and I think I applied 2 strands together of this. It's a wool and acrylic blend, and I think I applied 2 strands of the unraveled yarn, and then I held it double so that it would be nice and thick, so it's like a worsted weight sock slipper thing. And I can't find the other one. I'm pretty sure it's in my laundry basket, but I didn't want to dig for too long. And then I used 1 strand of that and 1 strand of a green unraveled sweater that's nylon and wool. Actually, I did 1 pair that was just the green held double, and then I had enough of both. I didn't have enough of both to do another pair, so I did 1 of each and did this pair. And I don't know where the green ones are. I don't know. I will wear them briefly and then I take them off and have to stash them somewhere because these are my dog's very favorite things to steal. And then I finished some yoga socks. So they look so weird, but basically here's the ankle, here's the foot, I think, yeah. So your toes and your heels are free so you can grip the yoga mat. Oh, I gotta let the dog out. These I've been working on for a long time because my gauge or my tension is so is loose, and so I have to go down to like 0s for socks, and it's really hard on my hands. So that's why I've done the worsted weight ones, because typical sock yarn and socks, it hurts my wrists and hands way too much. So yeah, these have, I think I found a free pattern and then kind of winged it, but it's just a 3x3 rib at the front, stockinette in the bottom, and the back. And I'm pretty sure I did them backwards. So one of them I cast on at the cuff and did it down, and the other one I cast on at the foot. Or rather, I thought I cast on at the cuff, and then it sat for too long and I forgot which I was doing. So they don't match perfectly, but they'll just be on my feet. And those are my only finished objects. I have been so It's been so hard for me to finish anything. I feel like I'm unhappy with everything, which is kind of why I did 3 pairs of socks, because they're so simple. Though I am actually unhappy with my toes. I cannot figure out Kitchener stitch. Tried it multiple times, and every time it's just terrible. So I did a 3 needle bind off on the toes, which is not too bad. One of them is, I notice it on my toes, but it's not too bad. But I really do wish I could figure out Kitchener stitch, but every time I've tried, it's just a huge mess. I suppose practice, but I don't make enough stuff that needs to be to practice a lot. So, my works in progress. Last time I had started a crochet shawl in some silk and wool, I think. And I forgot that because I didn't like how it was turning out. The fabric felt weird. So then I started, I think I did like 4 or 5 swatches, and I didn't like any of them. I started knitting a lace one that I thought would be good, and then I didn't like that, so I frogged that. And just so unhappy with everything I'm working on, I feel like. I haven't worked on my handspun cardigan at all, because that's another one that I'm not sure I'm happy with. My Elwyn pullover, I did knit on that because it's just straight stockinette in the round, but it is stockinette on fingering weight, so it's taking a while. But it is, I'm still liking this one. It's got this textured sleeve, but it's just taking a long time. I should actually take this one with me places where I know I have to sit and knit, but I haven't actually been to many of those places lately. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten much done. Because a lot of my knitting time has been swatching or like starting small things and then ripping them out and swatching again and ripping out. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the weather. I just don't feel like knitting as much. Also, another thing, no, that's not what I did. My daughter's tee that I was kind of self-drafting. I did finish the main part of that. I still need to do the collar or just the neckline, really. But it's too big. I don't, like, I didn't measure, I didn't swatch carefully, apparently, but my daughter prefers more stuff that's a little tighter, and I just didn't take that into consideration. I think she'll still wear it, but it probably won't fit for this summer. So I did lace here on the shoulders, and then I decided to do a little bit of lace around the bottom. So this was just a feather and fan that I found. Let's see. There we go. Hopefully this blocks out nicely. This is a cotton acrylic blend, I believe, and I don't think I have the label anymore, but I talked about it in the last podcast. So I'm just gonna probably pick up and knit around the neckline to bring it in a bit, and it'll be slightly oversized, but I think the fabric is enough. She doesn't need to layer it for summer, so it'll be cooler if it's looser. So hopefully she'll try it. If not, whatever. And that's been in my homemade project bag, which I'm still very pleased with. I really like it, even though my needles stick out. And I should go through my stash and find some more. Ooh, speaking of, I went through my fiber stash and took it all out on my bed, and I did record it in hyperlapse. So I'll try and add that on the end. I did post it on my Instagram. But yeah, I'll try and add it on here because going through that was interesting as well. I did it before I left for Fiber Fusion to try and see what I had and see if there was anything specific I was looking for, which I kind of wasn't. I think my fiber stash and spinning is another one of those things that I'm just not super happy with right now. It must be the season. I don't know what else it could be. But yeah, I went through that. So that was kind of fun because I was able to organize it a bit and get more of an idea of what I have. All right, and then I started another. I had gotten this Truboo, I think it's Lion Brand Truboo from Michaels. and to do a tank top or t-shirt for my daughter. And this is the back. So I crocheted, tiny little granny squares. And then I did 4 across the front, 2 for over the shoulders. And then I did a giant granny square in the back, and started knitting down for the front. And then I realized it was not going to be wide enough for the granny square in the back. So I did a couple more rounds around, which actually made it longer in the back, which is what I needed. So I'm going to knit down. I'm trying to do the picking up as I go, which seems to be working pretty well. So I'll go down to the bottom and then I'll probably pick up around the bottom and knit a border. I have to go check on the dog. I heard him chewing on something outside. Just some plastic, you know, like he does. So those are my works in progress. I've got one that I keep in the car that I didn't bring in. Another thing I have been doing is unraveling some things. So I made a tank top. Sorry for the top of my head. I made a tank top. Oh gosh, it's been years. And the yarn I used was unraveled cotton acrylic, and it was stretchier than I thought. And so the tank top I made should have had a lot more drape. And so it was too form-fitting for the style, because it had like the split hem, and really it just made the split hem go like this and look like the thing was the wrong size for me. So this is what the yarn looks like. And so this is another one I've been casting on and ripping back. Currently I've got some, what's this called? Where you do a row of knit one, purl one, and then the other side is just knit. Broken rib? I think so. So I've started broken rib shoulder straps, and I might do another tank with that, that either is more flowy because I add more stitches, or is form-fitting, which I'm okay with as well. It just needs to look like it's supposed to be. And then another thing that I decided to rip out is this cardigan, or not cardigan, cashmere that was from a recycled sweater. It is so soft. I thought about just passing it on because this, I mean, I like it. I made a t-shirt version of the, oh gosh, it's by Dragon Horde Yarns. I cannot remember what the name of the pattern was. I'm just trying to look really quick, but it's super far back in my list of makes on Ravelry. Anyway, this, I wasn't super happy with this lace though. You might not be able to tell, maybe you can, but the way that this side, the yarn overs and the leaning decreases, I'm just not happy with it. It looks different from the other side. It doesn't look as smooth. It's kind of gappy. And that's my fault, obviously. It's the way I knit. So I just never wore it. And also having short sleeves in such a warm cashmere, I just wasn't wearing it. So I'm gonna rip it out, and I have more of this yarn because whatever sweater I unraveled it from was giant. So I have a ton. I could totally make myself a super cozy long-sleeved cashmere sweater once I feel inspired again, or like I know what to knit. So that's what I'm doing. I also went through a lot of my sweaters and my shawls, and I'm actually going to bring a few to my spinning group on Saturday to see if anyone wants them, because I just don't wear them and there's no use in me holding on to them. So all right, so acquisitions. I found a little bit at Value Village the other day when I went. So I found this Lana Grossa sock yarn kimono. It's 150 grams, so I won't actually do straight socks. That's the pattern, though that's not the right color. It was $3.99. And I will probably hold it. I'll probably find a gray that I can hold it with to make it worsted weight. Pretty sure that dog is destroying that plastic thing that he found outside. Thankfully he doesn't try and swallow the pieces. At least not yet. So hopefully I won't have to take him to the vet again. He's got an ear infection currently. Double ear infection currently. Giant pain. And then I found a bag of fiber that had this, which I forgot to weigh. I'm positive it's cotton because I have some cotton very similar to this. It feels the same, looks the same. It has these little like bits of cottony looking seed pod stuff. I actually used my other cotton in a blend that I'm currently spinning on my wheel. So yeah, I might spin this straight. I've never spun cotton straight. I might do it just to try it and see how it turns out because I've got a bunch of it now. Or I might use it in blends. And then I found these little cute little cinnamon roll fiber things. There's a few different colors. There's the green, gray to white, tan to brown, and then gold to brown. So I might use these, or probably will use these for felting because there's not really enough to spin, or I guess I could blend it with something else. And then there was a bunch of black wool. You really can't see it, but then just some black, I assume is Corriedale or Merino. That's mostly what my local yarn store sells. So I'm assuming that's where it's from. And then also some very bright cherry red, which I actually have quite a bit of this already because I bought some to make a parrot years ago, to felt a parrot, and then I felted a dragon, so I used up a bunch of it. Okay, and then Fiber Fusion, we went to, my daughter calls it the Button Lady, is Phoenix Fibers in Port Angeles, or Sequim, I guess, Washington. And I got this, which is a Romney, that's very similar to a bump I got from her at the Spin-In in Whidbey Island. So I'm hoping to apply them together because I found that bump in my stash and I was like, this is not enough to do much with. Excuse me. So this is 7 ounces. I think the other one's about 6, between 6 and 7 ounces. So use those together. It's 10:30. And then there was a new vendor there, or at least a vendor that I had not seen before at fiber events, and I should have bought way more because her prices were so reasonable. She does, instead of winding them, she does just bags. She just shoves the wool in the bag. So this is 8 ounces of wool that has, it's the leftovers basically of what she did. Oh, this is actually kind of, I assumed it was in strands. Oh yeah, there it is. This will be very hard to find the end of. That'll be interesting. So it's just blends, like the ends of all her dyed fiber. She just blended it all together. So it's this giant bag. And then I also bought this 6 ounces of just a neutral. So I can either blend it with that or with another thing that I have. Kind of interesting smell to it. I'm not sure if that's it's not lavender. But those were the only fiber things I bought. It was so tempting to buy fleece there. They had a fleece show and they had some amazing looking fleeces, but I am just not up for washing them right now. I just didn't feel like, because it's a lot of work to wash a fleece and to prep it. I'm okay with the prep, but washing it, and I mean there's just so much dirt and vegetable matter and grease and yeah. So I didn't do it. I thought about it. I looked at the fleece like 10 times while my daughter looked at the sheep. She loved the sheep and the alpacas and the goats that were there. And then Sunrise Grove Knittery made these really cool stitch markers. and my daughter got some as well. She had, the vendor had a little tray of these individual different ones. My daughter got one that was like a cat skeleton, and then a bunny skeleton, I think, and a raven. Apparently my daughter is going through her little tiny goth phase. So she got all of those things, and she was very excited. And then I got these, they're progress keepers, which I don't actually think I have any progress keepers that have this type of earring back. The ones that open so wide, those tiny little lobster claw ones are annoying because it's hard to grab them. So that was all I got, I think. It was a lot of fun. I got to see some people that I know, and my spinning group is planning the St. Distaff Day event happening in January. And so it was nice to also go to an event and think about that. Also, a vendor there was called Fiber and Flame, I believe. And I had gotten these, they're glass stitch markers that are so cool. They're tiny glass circle stitch markers. I got a set of 4. One of them is on a project right now. But she was there again, and I had forgotten to mention what I purchased after Whidbey Island. So I thought I would show those. Oh, good timing. So, yes, that's what I've been working on. Hopefully the summer, spring blahs go away and I can figure out my knitting and spinning. I'm currently spinning on a blend that I made on that drum carder that I borrowed. That's it's really nice, fluffy, and it's got the one thing I don't love from this blend is these pieces of linen, or flax, I guess it's the flax. They're almost like grass pieces, which technically I guess they are. But they're working out okay. I'm not sure what the finished yarn will be like. I need to probably weigh it and find out if I want to spin it with itself or if I want to apply it with something else. Because I'm not sure how it will feel or what it will be like. Seriously, this blah mood about like feeling like nothing is right is really annoying. But I actually was looking up like the weather related depressive things. I don't know if that's what I have for summertime, but I really hate summertime. So maybe, I don't know, it's just throwing me off though. So I probably should just refocus and work in my garden. I've been planting a lot, and I'm excited about it. I planted some squash in the front yard, which I've never planted edible stuff in the front yard, so that should be interesting. We don't have an HOA, so they can't say anything about it. Hopefully I get some of those. I really like winter squash, so that would be nice. And I think I planted a summer squash as well, which we can always use that too. So that's all that's going on with me. I should probably find out if the dog has eaten any plastic and then kennel him so that I can go to help out at the book fair. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, month, summer. I don't know when I'll be able to do this again because my children will be done with school in 2 weeks, 10 days, darn it, 10 days. It's also my anniversary in 10 days. We've been married 16 years. It's 2007. Yeah, long time. Anyway, yes, have a wonderful summer if I don't see you before summer's over. Bye.